Welcome to another episode of the Protein Bros podcast. Today we have an awesome episode in store for you guys. We sit down with Roger Allen, who is a former NFL player. He is a former Orange Theory regional director and now a strength and performance coach and director over a lot of other trainers at the KU Med Sports Performance Center. We talk about his NFL career, the players he played with, the trials and tribulations of getting injured in the NFL, what was like after the NFL, along with where is sports performance going these days, where is personal training going these days, and where is fitness going in the future. And he's got a lot of insight. He's got a lot of great stories. And on top of that, he talks to us all about and educates us on anime because we knew nothing about it. So tune in. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. And if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and share. How long you been at UMKC now?
So you say UMKC, so it's University of Kansas Medical Hospital.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been there for a year and some change, like a year and
University
a half.
of Kansas Medical Hospital. So that's the one that's at basically Independence and 29 Highway?
No, it has several locations, but this is the one that's in KCK, near downtown.
Okay.
It's in the Wyandotte area. Mm-hmm. So it has the
right by Casey Joe's?
Exactly. The big, huge medical hospital, and then they have little satellites all over the place. So it's the biggest hospital system in the whole Midwest.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
I would love to know. Well, for those of us that don't know, we're already recording. Dope. So for all of our listeners, what is the difference between being like a strength and conditioning coach versus it being sports performance and sports medicine? And what would be the actual title of your position there? And how does that differ?
So I am the supervisor of strength and athletic development. Strength and athletic development. And honestly, there's no difference between being a strength coach and my position.
Sure.
So I actually manage and supervise a staff of 3 assistant strength coaches. And our goal is to continue to allow athletes to strengthen and improve their gains, improve their performance on the field. But most importantly, being coupled with a hospital, we put a huge emphasis on injury prevention.
Okay.
So what made me get into strength and conditioning in the first place is I've had a career riddled with injuries. I've had 7 surgeries. Probably could get 2 more that I'm just putting off as long as possible. And I realized a big part of the reason why I had those surgeries is because being trained throughout high school and middle school, high school, and then in collegiate level, I didn't really have a collegiate strength coach. My high school coach was my strength coach in high school. My head coach and my O-line coach and D-line coach were our strength coaches in college. And great guys, but they really didn't study the body, didn't study anatomy. They just did what their coaches had them do.
Right?
Yeah.
They weren't specializing.
It was max out stuff and eat peanut butter and jellies if it was anything like my coaches.
Exactly. So I got strong, but I wasn't balanced.
Oh.
And due to that, once I started going against higher levels in the NFL, my body broke. I couldn't keep up with it, and which broke my heart because I played with guys that continued to go on and play 10 years, and they were my backups initially. So I was like, I could have had a much longer career if I just could have stayed healthy. And my agent used to say, if you could stay healthy, grow wealthy. Mm-hmm. And so I grew normal.
So for those who are listening, Roger, he played in the NFL for how many years?
I made it 4 full seasons, 5 preseasons.
Yeah, and so when you're talking about injuries, the NFL linemen are notorious for having knee injuries. Is that where your injuries were occurring? Or what specific injuries did you have?
So I had ACL on both. I had a meniscus tear on both, and then I've had 3 athletic pubalgias, aka groin surgeries, where your abdomen detaches from your groin.
Oh God,
that sounds heinously painful.
It's amazing. It's a good time.
What would be the most painful out of those?
Ironically, in the moment,
mm-hmm.
none of them are like super painful. When it happens, and then it's more of a chronic ache afterwards.
Sure,
that ends up getting unbearable. The groin one would only happen when you did certain movements, and then all of a sudden you'd feel a huge pop. And then
sharp, if you will.
Exactly, yeah, and that would hurt. The ACL obviously was just a chronic pain, and anytime you try to change direction, your knee will buckle. So I don't know if I had great pain tolerance, just because I'm just like that, or if it was just because those injuries aren't as painful initially. More than anything, once it happens, you just realize, hey, I got 6 months of rehab. So, tears happen and you're so upset.
Well, speaking of which, what would be the most painful of those rehabs with you coming out of these surgeries?
For sure, ACL.
Yikes.
Yeah, ACL, it's 6 to 9 months, and that's what they always say. But I think 6 months is for people who are under 200 pounds.
I'm with you.
Yeah, so the heavier you are, the longer your rehab is going to be because it's more body weight on that joint. And so whenever I was in high school, when I first got my ACL, sophomore year, I bounced back in 6 months. And I was good. I had my best season in high school my junior year after the ACL. Then I tore my ACL on the other side. I was okay, 6 months, I'm going to do it. No, at that point, I'm 315 pounds. And that took me more like 9 months to a year to get back to being normal.
Well, and it was, for in positions, right, it matters. Like typically, like a running back, very famous for getting some torn ACLs. It seemed like back in the day, even the times when you were playing, this is like 2010, 12, era, right? It was very unheard of for anybody to come back the next season and perform, in 6 to 9 months, like you're talking about, and perform at the same level. And I think Adrian Peterson was the first NFL player I can think of that just absolutely dominated after a 6-month stint, which is just like, is that still unheard of, you think, or is that becoming more and more common where people can just bounce back like that?
It's getting better and better and better every time. So whenever I first had my ACLs, you were supposed to keep your weight off of it for a while, which, as you know, creates the muscles start to deteriorate and get weaker. Atrophy is the word I was looking for. So yeah, your muscles start to atrophy, and then it takes even longer to build the muscles back up and get your range of motion back.
Those surrounding muscles.
Exactly. So at our facility right now, when someone has their ACL right the day after surgery, we have them weight bearing now. We have them working on the range of motion.
That's wild.
All right, the decision is still fresh, and they realized it's important to minimize that atrophy as quick as possible. So getting them bearing their weight again, using those muscles, creating their mind-body connection once again improves the recovery time. So it's just simple, little, small things like that. And then along with that, the surgery's gotten better with. It's less invasive. They can scope more and make it a smaller incision. The smaller incision, the faster recovery. So yeah.
Why is it, so? Back when I was playing, we used to do those tests where you would do like a hamstring curl versus like an extension to see what your hamstring versus quad strength was in comparison, because they said that was a good representation of knee stability. Is that still a measurement that you guys use to check on knee stability, or what? How do you? When you're training an athlete, how specifically are you being able to tell whether or not this person is going to could run into problems with knee issues in the future?
That's a great measurement of thinking about that when it comes to hamstring and quad strength. We really don't go that route. We go off of movement. So we do a movement screening anytime we get a first athlete. And we're going to see how their body moves, and that's going to tell us what's underactive and overactive. So if their knee valguses, aka knee drops in on lunges and squats, that's a sign that they have very weak quads and probably have very tight glutes. So that tells us right away what we need to strengthen and what we need to focus on stretching, and then vice versa. So we use movement and use our eyes to determine the athlete's risk of injury.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we just focused on training the posterior chain to be twice as strong as the anterior chain.
Yeah.
And for any athlete, that's the focus.
Nice, need to work on that myself, man. Posterior chain hurt me right now.
It's hard. Everybody wants to. There's the go muscles and the show muscles. The anterior chain, that's what you show off, so that's what we focus on. But if you want to move fast, it's actually the posterior chain. That's where your gas is.
Yep.
I love that, dude. This is so I want to hear what What team were you with whenever you tore your ACL for the second time? The one that was out of college or out of high school?
So that one was with the St. Louis Rams. So I made it to the starting roster, and my very first full start was the last game of the season. We were going against the
It's your rookie year?
Yeah, rookie year.
So you got Sam Bradford starting?
Yeah, we had Sam.
His rookie year too.
No, actually, no, we didn't have Sam Bradford.
Kellen Clemens?
No, it was a guy before Sam Bradford.
Mark Bulger?
Mark Bulger. Mark Bulger was our starting quarterback, and Sam came the following year. Okay. So, yeah.
This is Mark Bulger's twilight, his swan song, if you will.
Exactly, right before he got out.
Dang, man. I was going to say, Sam Bradford, he had 2 torn ACLs. Remember, back-to-back years.
Exactly.
He went out, I think it might have been, preseason, and then he came back the next preseason and did it again in the next preseason game. It was the saddest thing as a fan to watch.
He was legit at Oklahoma too, man.
He was a Heisman winner, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
dude had an arm. He was smart, but he couldn't stay healthy. And once again, I would be curious on what his workout routine was, how balanced was his body.
This is what I know about quarterbacks: is they're either like psychos as far as work ethic, or they literally never squat.
Yeah,
that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like some quarterbacks are so they're like just the athletic guys that they don't have to put a lot of work in.
Ben Roethlisberger's. Yeah.
So a great example of a guy who works extremely hard was the quarterback we had on my second team, the Saints. Drew Brees. Drew Brees is the hardest working athlete I've ever had the pleasure of being around.
I believe that.
And he has great integrity. He is who people say he is. And I always talk to people about Drew. When you show up, so a normal day in the NFL during the season, for most players, you show up and you will go to meetings, and then you'll work out. And then after the workout, we'll go practice, and then you come, eat, you go to more meetings, and then you go home. Well, when we first show up, Drew's already working out, already in the weight room doing an hour of his workout. Then we go to meetings, and Drew is already watching film. So he was already one step ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
And then, so during the workout, when everybody else is working out, Drew's doing film. And that's the reason why Drew was an amazing quarterback, not only because of his skill of throwing the ball and being able to scramble, but he read defenses. He knew what they were going to do. He knew exactly what they were going to do, where the blitz was coming from every single time. So he knew exactly where to slide the offensive line. So whereas is the exact opposite when I was at the Carolina, we had to read all of the blitzes and whatnot as the offensive line. When I was with the Saints, literally Drew was like, hey, slide left, slide right. He's coming. Block him, and you didn't have to think. So then you just got to play. You just get to focus on your form and beat the guy in front of you because you didn't have to read the disguises. And Drew did all of that through film play.
Drew Brees is like one of the few quarterbacks that you see like breaking a team down before. Usually it's like a defensive guy, like a freaking, a veteran linebacker or something. Yeah. But Drew Brees always had enough respect with the team to be like the guy that's in the middle breaking everybody down, which I always thought was pretty cool.
Drew Brees is the difference between a leader and a manager. Yeah. A manager will tell you what to do. A leader will get out front and show you how to do it.
Yeah.
All right, and do it with you, be in the trenches with you.
Was he your best leader that you played with?
By far.
That's awesome, man.
By far. During the lockout, so after my second season,
14?
It was 2011, I think, was the NFL lockout. So we couldn't train with the facility. All right, and so Drew, with his own money, paid for the entire team to stay in a hotel and train at Tulane. Paid all the trainers there just so because he wanted us to be good going into the next season, not be out of shape. So he was the first quarterback to do that, and then several other quarterbacks tried to follow his standpoint. But he did that because he was going to put the team on his back.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Just as a personal story from that time frame, I remember I was working at Supplement Superstores in St. Louis for like a week, and I just remember James Laurinaitis coming in during the lockout.
James.
Yeah, man. James Laurinaitis he was my boy at the time. I was like 20. I was probably the same age as him, honestly.
That was my boy too.
He's a good dude.
He and I used to hang out. No, that guy's a crazy guy.
Yeah. I heard a story about him and Aaron Andrews maybe at one point in college. Is this true, Roger?
He goes, "Oh, okay."
Hey,
He's
listen,
like,
I
"Is this true?"
I didn't know him in college. I knew him in the league. That was it.
Yeah, there was an Aaron Andrews story that circulated with James, but he came in and he was like, "Dude, there's like two different type of football players." He's like, "Dude." He's like, the day that the lockout ended, he was like, I was waiting for them to unlock the building. I was sitting there an hour early, just lining up, like couldn't wait to get back. And he's like, he name drop a handful of players that were like, do I really got to go back?
Right, exactly.
And you're like, man, it's so crazy how people can, live out somebody else's dreams and they just don't even appreciate it. You know what I mean? Pretty wild.
That's absolutely correct.
Do you think that, so for those who are listening, a lot of people that go to the NFL, they're going, James Laurinaitis came from Ohio State, right? Mm-hmm. So he's a guy that came from a big program and, got drafted pretty high. Was he a first round?
Yeah.
I believe he was a second rounder.
Second rounder. Yep. So got drafted.
First rounder, actually, that year was Jason Smith. Offensive tackle.
From number 2 overall. And
you are your Rams fan for sure.
I'm a real Chiefs fan now, but I mean, like, I'm a real football fan for sure. But yeah, man, Jason Smith right next to Greg Robinson is 2 of the most worthless picks of all time.
But what?
I'm not going on there saying that.
Why not? But hey, how was their work ethic?
Actually, Jason worked really, really hard. Mm-hmm. Jason was a hard worker.
He stuck around longer too.
Yeah, he did. It's just he was a little stiff, and you can't be stiff as a tackle. You got to be able to move and bend.
He was more of a mauler run blocker than he was a pass blocker.
Exactly.
If I'm told correctly.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend like I've been in the trenches and know.
Yeah, he wasn't the finesse guy, So he was more running at you, and yeah, it's tough. It's real tough to make it on the offensive line. You gotta be versatile.
I'm with you.
But what I was saying is, so you came from Missouri West, a smaller program, obviously.
Western, right?
Yeah,
yes.
Missouri Western.
Yeah, Missouri Western, and because you came from a little bit smaller program, did you notice that guys like you who were coming from those small programs versus guys that are coming from the bigger programs had more of the scrappy work ethic? Was that a common thing that was happening, or do you think it's basically you get to the NFL and it's kind of a blank slate?
Yeah, even blank field.
It all depends on who you are and that person's character. I've played with Division I athletes that bust their behinds, worked hard. I played with Division athletes that were terrible work ethic and just relied purely on their God-given skill. And the same thing in Division II. There's guys who bust their behind. There's guys who go off of skill. Problem is in Division II, if you don't bust your behind, you ain't making it to the next level. Yeah. All right, at your level, you're going to plateau. Whereas in Division I, if you got God-given ability and you're on a higher platform, you're going to still get the opportunity to get a shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked about we're all over the place when it comes to like your playing career and just the stories that, dude, you have to, like, the experiences that you've had have just got to be, immense, more or less, the best for the lack of a better term. You have a situation now where you get to, take some of these young athletes and guide them better. What's the advice that you wish you could have gotten? You know what I'm saying?
The first one was take care of your body. Mm-hmm. The weight room is where you put on your armor. So your muscles not only help you perform better, but protect you, especially in football, with all the hits, all of the awkward positions you're going to be put in. So flexibility is key, all right? It's not just about getting strong, but you have to put on that mass and stay limber because you will be caught in a awkward situation. Someone's going to roll up on you. Someone's going to roll up. Yeah, exactly. And if you're tight, you're going to snap like a rubber band. But if you're limber, you'll bend. It'll hurt, but you'll hop back up. No injuries. So that's the goal, is to stay flexible. Stay flexible. Stay flexible. If you're not flexible, get flexible. Otherwise, injuries are inevitable for you. And then the another thing to focus on is stay grounded in your faith. You're going to have ups and downs, highs and lows, and you'll flow with those emotions if you don't have something grounding you. For me, it was my belief in the Holy Father and Jesus, and that is what kept me going through my highs and lows. I got cut several times. Mm-hmm. And the first time, you're like, oh, I'll never play again, crying, boo, 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 hoo. And the second time, you're like, oh, this still stings, little tears, but I wipe it away. Third time, I'm like, okay, thank you, shake hands, on to the next one. And I realized over being dropped so many times that at the end of the day, he still had me. He's still taking care of me. He allowed me to get to the next team. And then eventually when my time was done, I was able to use my time there to launch me into my next career path, which is this. So everything happens for a reason. Just because it doesn't go the way you imagined it in your mind doesn't mean that it's not according to his plan. And ultimately it's going to be for the best. Right now I get to impact kids and help them in their careers and avoid the things I went under. So it would have been more beneficial for me to have a 10-year career, or is it more beneficial for me to have a short career and allow the next person to have an amazing career? I might train the next Mahomes.
Yeah.
But due to my injuries, I might help him avoid those problems. So, everything happens for a reason.
That's special, man. With your
Speaking of injuries and Mahomes, dude, how does that guy recover so freaking quick from injuries?
Well, actually,
unbelievable.
that high ankle sprain.
And the knee, dude. And the dislocated
the
knee.
knee was a 2-3 week deal.
I will say,
he played the next week on that.
I met his trainer.
Bobby Stroop?
Yeah, he used to train at our facility. Actually, now he trains at the Wizards location, but because they have more room and an amazing place. But before that, they were training at our place, and Bobby would have them out there doing all kinds of weird movements. Putting his body in awkward positions. And that is the reason why he had a sprain and not a break. That's why he had a sprain and not a full-on tear. All right, so he got caught in awkward position. He got injured, but it was not as severe as it could have been if his body was not limber and able to bounce back from those bad positions. So goes back to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Flexibility is key. And
that's
Bobby,
great.
he's huge on that. He does not do traditional training at all. It's all about strength through mobility.
Bro,
That's so cool.
the classic Twitter where he put out the ankle photo with the bulldog in it. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
He's like, I think Mahomes' ankle is going to be fine, and it was
That dog
Mahomes' ankle with a bulldog on it.
Mahomes' ankle got the dog in him.
He's got the dog
Yeah.
in him. I was like,
Find
dude,
the photo.
That is so
Luke.
funny.
Show us the photo of Mahomes' ankle bulldog. But man, what the heck point was I going to make?
I'm sorry, I got totally.
It's okay.
I was like, yeah, and Mahomes.
In that ankle.
So sorry.
But you got I guess with my biggest point I was just trying to make there was just that, you seem to have a genuine passion for helping younger athletes, further themselves. Did you dabble in coaching at all, man? Because I feel like you could make a real impact with people like that.
I thought about it. It's just the hours, and I have 2 young children with my ex-wife, and going into it, I knew the hours that coach had to put in, especially at the higher levels, and I wanted to be able to spend time with my children and not spend 15 hours a day.
Yeah, there it is.
It's
a pit bull dog.
Yeah, and get the Mahomes fro. Let's go.
Yeah.
He tweeted that out and he goes, I think his ankle's going to be fine.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah, and Bobby put that dog in his ankle. Yeah. That's for sure. Initially, I thought about coaching, but then wanted to go the strength route because I knew strength coaches didn't have to travel for recruiting. Mm-hmm. Strength coaches got to stay at home, and so that's what initially got me into the strength realm. And then at the same time, I love to lift, I love to train, and so it just made sense. And I was told very young that if you love what you do, you don't have to work a day in your life. And I do love what I do. So is it work? Does it get monotonous after a while? Yeah, but once I'm in it, and I'm loving it. So
yeah.
You were in charge of a handful of Orange Theories here in town, like 5 or 6 or something like that, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, 15.
15? No, my bad. I didn't know they grew that much. My bad.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no. Hey, there's a huge difference between 5 and 15.
You're the regional director here in
regional
Kansas City,
director.
Right?
Exactly. So I was a regional fitness director. So I trained all of the Orange Theory coaches in the region. So at a time. So for what is that? 4 years. Mm-hmm. 4 years. So not all of them. There was a regional fitness director before me, Scott Schlesinger, but I inherited it from him, and so a lot of the coaches that are coaching now were in my training classes.
Those those Orange Theories, from a business standpoint, they're a spectacle. They're a marvel. People, in the business world, are absolutely huge fans of what Orange Theory was able to do. I believe it was like 1,300 total locations in only 5 years.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Absolutely. And they have proprietary technology. It's very hard to copy it. Many have tried. Everybody's trying to make the next Orange Theory as far as business goes. And it comes to the fitness world. I can think of like 6 different places off the top of my head that are trying to make their own version of it. Right. What's the most challenging part of trying to get, coaches to perform at the level that Orange Theory standards are? Because they are very high, seemingly. And a lot of different personalities in the fitness world.
You can't come into an Orange Theory class and be like subdued. You got to get the energy going.
They do it.
Yeah.
The atmosphere does it.
Yep.
You're absolutely right. So I was with Orange Theory for almost 10 years now. So I joined it when it was only 4 years old, and that was back when we made our own templates. Mm-hmm. We wrote our own workouts, and we did it. They had a certain way to coach the class, but you got to decide how that went, right? So you got to decide how long the pushes, bases, all that stuff were. But then as Orange Theory started to scale, they came out with corporate templates, and trainers were upset about that because you're like, oh, you're taking away our creativity.
No special sauce.
Exactly. Yeah. Now that makes what makes me. That's why people come to my class. Mm-hmm. Well, that is how you scale, because Orange Theory realized that. They were like, okay, this isn't Roger Theory, this isn't Bob Theory, this isn't Joe Theory, this is Orange Theory. So we need to make it uniform, like Starbucks. You go to Starbucks, you get a cappuccino on one corner. You go to New York, you get the same cappuccino. Should taste the same. Mm-hmm. It needs to be the same. And so, though they upset most of the trainers, they're like, hey, if you don't like it, you can quit, go somewhere else. But Orange Theory's model and the way they pay coaches, you don't have to sell. You don't have to go out and get new people. People just walk in the door. So it's hard to leave Orange Theory as a fitness professional because, you don't have to work to acquire new clients. They walk in the door. You just have to do a good enough job for them to sign up and
stick around, right?
Stick around, and then you get a nice consistent pay, which is also very rare in the fitness industry. Your pay is always going to fluctuate with vacations and going out of town, where Orange Theory gave trainers consistency. Mm-hmm. So they were able to keep and maintain high-level coaches, and then they made it scalable by making it uniform, and that's how Orange Theory blew up really well. And then the next step, when I first joined, they had polar heart rate monitors. And for anybody who's in Orange Theory, like right now, everybody has their own heart rate monitor. But when Orange Theory first started, they came in and they had to charge your heart rate monitor and give out the pods and then collect it at the end of class.
And recharge it.
It was a mess. Heart rate monitors rarely ever worked. So Orange Theory quickly identified that they needed to come out with their own heart rate monitors, which was another huge step. And when they came out with their own heart rate monitors, everyone else was just getting polars. So that's the reason why Orange Theory has been able to still dominate the market, because they're always one step ahead of everyone else. And they realize that technology is always going to be changing. So they need to be the leader in technology and fitness. And they currently are. So everybody's on their coattails, while Orange Theory is always thinking about the next step and the next step and the next step. And that's why Orange Theory is an amazing brand, because they're always evolving. Don't get monotonous. Fitness, and just like fitness, it's always changing. There's always a different way to work your abs. It's just a different way to, and as a trainer, if you want to just get old school, cool, but you're going to quickly become antiquated. All right. Whereas you need to evolve as technology and knowledge of the body continues to change and develop.
Yeah.
How much of that do you feel like is, I'm like, I agree 100% with all of these sentiments, but I think like a devil's advocate here would be like, well, if it's not broke, don't fix it. There's a lot of trendy fitness stuff that looks like it's just going to be a trend. It's not going to stick, right? Mm-hmm. Do you see the Orange Theory as something that's going to last, or do you feel like it's going to be another trend where people start to go like, Curves used to be the #1 fitness franchise in the country. Do you know a single person that's using Curves right now?
Right.
I don't know a single one, but Weight Watchers. I mean, we can go on and on and on, but do you see Orange Theory phasing, or do you feel like it's only going to get stronger?
All depends on if they can continue to adapt and evolve.
I'm with you.
If the leadership and development team hits a plateau, so will the growth of Orange Theory. And so that's what it comes down to, is staying on the cutting edge of technology and staying ahead so someone else doesn't come in and beat you and cut you off. With that model, if it's not broke, don't fix it. If that's the case, nail guns would never have been invented, because there's nothing broke about a hammer.
Right.
It's true.
It's not
better
broken.
tool. Yeah.
It's not broken.
It's
but now
more efficient.
It's more efficient, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how things evolve. All right. It might not be broke, but there might be a more efficient way to get it done.
Yeah.
Do we still have hammers? Yeah. All right. Doing a push up, does that work your triceps and chest? Yeah. But there's other ways to work your triceps and chest that might be more efficient.
You can do more resistance with a bench press.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to evolve, even though something's not broken.
If you were the CEO,
I would say the big thing with Orange Theory that I personally noticed is, back to what you were saying as far as hiring good people. When me and him first opened up our first store in Overland Park in 2016, the end of 2016, the beginning of 2017, you were coaching at that Overland Park store, and people would come into our store and they would just rant and rave about you. And you were like the dude at that store that everybody was talking about.
this was you just getting started, right?
Yeah.
So you were training at the time, right?
Yeah, so
Nicole was I feel like our first manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Melissa, I believe, was the second manager.
You guys have amazing memory.
Yeah.
See, less concussions.
Melissa now
They'll
owns
do that
one.
for you.
Yeah.
yeah. Melissa, she owns the Shawnee location.
Yeah. We're
Yep.
2 doors down, by the way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a small world.
But it was like, it was people would come in and they'd be like, they had to go to your classes, right?
Yeah. Everybody was raving about your classes specifically.
And so for all the proprietary technology that Orange Theory has, I think that, something that they do really good on the back side of things is they find good trainers like yourself, treat them the right way, pay them the right way, motivate them, the right way. And it basically creates, culture that goes beyond just, this is where I go to work out. It's like a little tribe of people.
Absolutely.
Which are, in my opinion, the best, fitness. Fitness isn't just about, I'm going to go here, I'm going to burn calories. You have to have some kind of tribe that you feel, you can't.
Some accountability there.
You can't let them down. Accountability.
That's what it is having workout partners. You're more accountable to do something if you have a group of people you're doing it with, because everybody's going to have that day where they want to sleep in. Everybody's going to have that day when they want to skip. But if your boys, if your girls are going, come on, let's go, then you're just going to drag it behind to the gym, right? Mm-hmm. And so Orange Theory quickly realized that, and they actually taught their coaches to try to create small communities, try to create bonds. That's part of the reason why they're so big on the refer and receive, because not only are they going to get new members, but that member who referred 2 or 3 of their friends are more likely to stay longer because now they have their friends there with them, working out with them. So now it's more than just a workout. It's now in a social event. Yeah. The social events are addictive. Social events you don't want to give up on. Social events are fun. Mm-hmm. Besides a workout that just gets agonizing and boring after a while.
Yeah, we try to institute that same community aspect in how we do things here, and it speaks to, like we said, if anybody who's ever grown up playing sports, it's just that group struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like we all remember two-a-days. We all remember, the first times going through the hard things together, and when you do hard things together, man, you create a bond. And so, what I was going to ask earlier when Kyle was discussing Orange Theory with you was
when I interrupted you. Sorry,
you're good, dude. I'm just thinking. Everything good comes to an end at some point. And, you mentioned 10 years with Orange Theory and parting ways. Was there anything about it that you would change in the sense of, like, if you were the CEO of Orange Theory right now, is there something you'd institute that's just different from how they do things?
No. I left Orange Theory for my own personal growth. I am an athlete. I love athletes. And like I said, I feel like God put me on this earth to help people have careers that are different than mine. Whereas Orange Theory catered more to the person who's trying to get their fitness goals, or if not hit their fitness goals, try to continue to elevate and better the quality of life. There's no end goal though. There's no, besides
their performance wasn't for a paycheck.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So whereas in sports, I get to live my athletic career once again, through those athletes I'm training. So I'm training them to play better on the field. I'm training them to win the game, make all conference, make all state, make it to college. There's goals, and I'm a very goal-oriented person, and I realized that I missed the competitive aspect of sports, and therefore I really wanted to get back to training athletes. I love Orange Theory. I still sub for Orange Theory. I still take class whenever I can. Orange Theory, there's nothing wrong with Orange Theory. Orange Theory is great. And I still bleed a little Orange Theory, but now I'm with the University of Kansas, and now I'm helping athletes protect their bodies and get stronger while doing so, and that's really filling my cup. I now have get to work with athletes one-on-one, get to know them, get to mentor them, get to help them grow physically, mentally, and spiritually. Once again, so that they just have an amazing life. And hopefully what I taught them can get passed down and they continue to do the same thing. So I have a bigger impact. So Orange Theory is awesome, but the University of Kansas Sports Performance Center is where I'm at.
You know what I would change about Orange Theory?
Tell us.
Water rowers. Not a fan of water rowers. I'd like a Concept 2 rower in there personally.
You know,
for those,
the water rower is just part of the secret sauce.
For those who are listening, we had Nathan Martin on the podcast last weekend, and he played football with Roger for 4 years, right next to him on the
University
offensive
of
line.
Missouri Western, and
he said that he could beat you on a Concept 2 when it comes to a rower. He said that you can row like a minute 10 500-meter row, which is pretty impressive.
Absolutely. I got down to a minute. I got down to a minute 10. You think you can beat me? I'm going.
I'm just saying, dude.
That's absolutely.
He texted me right before we did this. I said, dude, give me some dirt on Roger. And he said, well, you should just say that I can beat him in a 500-meter row, but it's got to be a Concept 2, not a water rower.
Hey, listen, he probably can right now. My cardio is not where it needs to be, okay? But
for a minute 10,
but 200-meter row is over, okay? It's over. He ain't holding with me for 200, but for 5, that's when cardio becomes a thing. Dude, he's in better shape than I am. I'll give it to him.
Either one of you guys doing a 200-meter row on a Concept 2, you might like completely break the machine with how hard you guys can pull.
I have broken 2 water rowers and pulled the handles off before. So
what? How did you like snap backwards? Did you
do a back roll? I almost went through the glass behind me. I was like, you saw a big old body torso print on the glass. And I was like, they thought I had a concussion.
Tested the glass that day.
Yeah, exactly. It was nuts.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'3".
Yeah, man. The height and the power definitely makes a big difference on the rower, man.
Yeah, I've learned to kind of ease into that first stroke instead of just going ham.
If you're not at Orange Theory, right, and you're not training at your performance center, have you tried out other gyms in Kansas City? And if so, what's your favorite?
Yeah, I've been around. I haven't been to a lot of places because ever since I moved back to Kansas City, I was always affiliated with a fitness center. So when I first came back to Kansas City, I was working for KU as a strength coach for their football team. So I had a free gym there, and then I did Orange Theory as well. So then I switched, but I had Genesis for a while when I left KU, and Genesis is a cool gym. It's nice. I don't have anything bad to say about any fitness places in here. It's just
which location was it that you were going to most consistent?
Initially, it was the Lee Summit location. I want to say Lee Summit West. Lee Summit West location, and then
one of the many that used to be like a 24, an Apex, or
exactly Genesis. Man, they destroyed the competition. I'm like, how did you get so much money to buy out every gym in the city? Like, what?
There's a lot of insiders that would give you all kinds of fun answers to that.
It's car lots.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
I'm from Wichita, which is where the Stephen brothers.
Spangles Fast Food. Yeah. Isn't that their other business?
The Spangles doesn't make money in comparison to those car lots.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm like, how do you get that capital to buy out Golds?
Let me give you a good example. The one on Shawnee Mission Parkway, they bought that one a long time ago, as well as the World Gyms, right? Mm-hmm. Well, they closed the one on Shawnee Mission Parkway immediately, and then paid 0 taxes on it. And it's in tax court right now, and he just won't pay the taxes on it. So because it's in tax court, no one else can move in to the spot. So it's insulating competition, so no one else can open a gym there, even though it's like a phenomenal location, and it's right down the street from his other location. But like, there's all kinds of friends that want to open that gym, and they just can't because they're just waiting for someone to pay the taxes on that property, and they're not paying it.
You know what?
Pretty amazing.
Those guys probably killed it in Monopoly when they were little.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, seriously, they were Monopoly geniuses.
Like, they're thinking of things way ahead before. Like, I'm like, how does that even happen? How do you buy a building that big and then just be like, don't feel like paying, and somehow drag it out? You know what I mean? I have no idea how it works, but I have several friends that would love to turn into that location, but they're like, now it's just beyond repair. If that makes sense. It's been sitting idle for so long. There's like rats running around in there and stuff. So
I love that you know Spangles.
What people tell me that's what they own.
Yeah,
I've never been to Spangles.
I love
you
that. Of course, I'm from Wichita, dude.
I'm today years old to hear about Spangles.
Yeah.
It's a Wichita thing.
It's a fast food restaurant, apparently, like a Steak and Shake or something.
Nah, yeah, kind of. They have like everything you could imagine. They have like turkey pitas, and then they have like burgers, and then they have. Last time I was there,
Never even been to a place with a
I
jerky
noticed
pita.
that you can buy like margaritas through the drive-thru. I was like, that's interesting.
You can get whichever you need, I guess, at Spangles.
Yeah,
I got my kids some nugs at Spangles. That's how I knew that.
I love that. You can get a margarita through the drive-thru. That's actually a pretty strong business model.
Kim was like, it's Friday. Should I order a margarita through the drive-thru? I was like, nah, we probably shouldn't. I don't trust it.
As long as you don't
Once you
put
say
your
that, now it's like,
container in
it's
straw in it.
Tuesday at noon. Yeah. What? Should we?
Roger,
Anyway.
what's your diet like since getting out of the NFL, man? Like I know in the NFL, a lot of offensive linemen, they go from like the feeling of having to stuff their face to like maintain weight to like feeling like a little relaxed that you don't have to eat as much.
See, the problem is with me is my metabolism doesn't exist. So it was never hard for me to put on weight. I've never, throughout college, I promise I didn't take any protein because I went Division II and it wasn't for free. And so therefore it wasn't for me. No creatine, no nothing. My freshman year, I gained 80 pounds.
No kidding.
For only one reason.
The dining hall.
The dining hall.
dining hall.
Seriously.
Every meal was an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Exactly.
What are we doing here?
All you can eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? I said challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
So I ate a lot. And then, so I would eat all you can eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then around 11 or 12 o'clock at midnight, I would go to Wendy's back when they still had the dollar menu. And I would get $7 double cheeseburgers and put those down every single night. I promise I probably put down like 5,000 calories a day.
I believe those were called, let me get back to my fat heritage, double stack.
Fat
Yeah,
heritage.
double stack. Yeah, the double stack. The double stack Wendy's cheeseburgers.
Double
baby.
stack or a junior bacon cheese.
Yeah, for $7. $7, a 2,000 calorie meal for $7.
And some bonus nuggets. You didn't just not get 5 nuggets for $1, right? You
Every
got
once in a while, if I want to switch it up, if I want to treat myself, be a little fancy, get some nuggets on the side.
Absolutely. Yeah, dude, I'm above nothing on a Wendy's. I'm not above any fast food, but I just haven't had Wendy's in forever. I live downtown now, and so like you realize like if you don't live near the convenience of fast food, you don't really go out of your way to get it.
Exactly. I still eat it every once in a while, but only for convenience. Exactly.
The last time I went to a Taco Bell, I remember being like, I can't believe that people still come here because of how expensive it was. This was just like 3 months ago. We went through or something like maybe a month ago.
And how
it was
low
just
quality the food is.
I was just like mind blown that like my girlfriend and I ate there and it was like $24. And I was like, dude, I'm used to spending $8. What?
I'm not talking to you.
What?
I'm not talking to you.
What are you saying?
I'm not talking about you, dog.
I know your code.
You probably looked up my calorie intake.
On what?
It actually comes down to 8,000 calories.
what
Speaking
seven-
of,
this
is
is what
this
7
you
double
eating a
stacks are.
football?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
Since we're talking about
It's made of pig.
being able to eat a lot of food, that's you eating a football.
Yeah, I was
so I
trying to
figured
get
that
creative.
was like a good picture to throw up with this conversation. Did you guys have? We had mandatory for people that are underweight. When I was playing football, they'd make you have 2 meals, and they had to do meal checks on you. And I remember one time I came into I came into football, and I think I was like 215 or something, and I was supposed to be heavier than that. And they made me check how many meals I was eating every morning for breakfast. I was like, this kind of sucks.
That's a little people problem. I didn't have that problem.
I bet you played with offensive linemen that did though.
Yeah, for sure. It was actually the other way around.
Yeah.
So if you got too heavy. So when I was in the
we had some of those too.
if I was in the NFL, if you were too heavy, you got fined. I believe it was $400 per pound. You're over your goal weight. Yeah, $400 per pound. Wow. So yeah, I was never overweight, but I had to watch what I eat only for that reason because I could have easily gotten huge. I played with Carl Nix at the Saints and the Buccaneers, and Carl was, no joke, every bit of 380 pounds. Jeez. And his goal weight, I think, was 340.
Wow. Wow.
So Carl would,
what's 40 grand though, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But Carl would get in fights with the strength coach. He's like, I ain't weighing in today. I haven't gotten a sauna yet. I ain't weighing in today. Carl, get on the scale. And literally, I seen him and Sean Payton getting into a screaming match because Sean Payton wanted him to get on the scale. I was like, F that, I ain't weighing in. I'll weigh in after practice.
Yeah. They're trying to take money from this man.
Exactly. Yeah. He knew he probably went a little too hard last night, and he was going to be a little.
He's
plump.
like, yeah.
Back to
Did
these
you like
days.
playing with Sean Payton?
I was gonna say Sean Payton, now the Broncos head coach. What do you think's in tune for Denver?
Hey, he could do big things. Sean had a great job of letting people be themselves, and yet at the same time giving them a structure that's going to be successful. So,
Did you see him hitting that bong over the weekend?
did he really?
Yeah.
What?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What?
Pull it up, Luke. Pull it up, Luke.
Hey, as long as it's in a legal state.
He's in
legal.
California
Hey.
or Colorado.
He was in Colorado, or if he was at the draft in Missouri, it didn't matter. It's recreational.
Exactly.
But the point that everybody's making is like, what are we still doing here, making these players get suspended for testing positive for THC when the head coach is crushing a bong for everybody to see?
Dang.
Well, wait. The more disturbing thing is that kid right next to him looks like he's 19 or
For sure.
Well,
he's
he's
hanging out with his son.
Truly, it might just be his son or like one of his, his buddy's sons or something. I mean, he's just at somebody's house
Wow.
hitting that bong.
Bro, if you're Sean Payton, if you're doing that, you're looking around and you're making, hey, put your cell phones away. No cell phones out right now.
That's crazy.
Carl Nix can't even wait to after practice to step on the scale. And this guy's over here just crushing a bong and probably having the munchies. But it's just, I mean, dude, not to take anything away from Sean Payton. Obviously, he's a Super Bowl winning head coach and an offensive genius, seemingly. But like, with this offense, I mean, Russell Wilson is not Drew Brees. So I don't know how he's going to plan on doing this, but whole lot of running game and play action.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I mean, Russell Wilson was pretty freaking good.
You said was. You said it. You said was.
And actually, Russell Wilson, also another guy with great work ethic. Why he had the abysmal season he had with the Broncos, I don't know. There's a lot, but
that coach who's from Kansas City, I think
coach?
had a lot to do with it. Denver's coach that they
Nathaniel
fired.
Hackett?
Yeah,
He was from Kansas City?
correct. Yeah.
When? I thought he was a Packers guy.
No, he grew up in Kansas City.
My bad. Okay.
I have no clue where he came from, what coaching tree he came from. I'm just saying that he grew up in Kansas City.
So yeah, for the Chiefs, I hope Sean Payton doesn't do amazing things. But yeah,
Do you follow the NFL
coach.
now as a fan?
I just follow the Chiefs.
I like that.
And I realize I'm not actually a huge fan
Sure.
of sports. I am a participant.
Right.
That's a lot of people say that.
Exactly.
That have played.
I'm a gladiator. Like I want to be the gladiator. I want to be the person in the ring. I want to be the person playing the game. So I have a hard time sitting around and watching. And nothing against it. Obviously, can't have it without the fans. But for me, it's not fun.
Yeah.
I just get anxiety, and I'm sitting there critiquing everybody who's playing.
Yeah.
Oh, you should do this. You should do that. So instead, I'm more of a dork. For recreation, I play video games. I like to listen to classical music. I like to work out, do things like that. And so, yeah, I don't really follow players. I don't follow teams. I'm a hometown guy. I love Chiefs my entire life. So that's pretty the only team I follow. And even then, I don't follow very well, very closely.
When you were a little kid, though, you were a fan, right?
Yeah, the Chiefs.
In the sense of like you're saying, the fan.
Yeah,
the
that was
Chiefs,
it. Yeah.
Were you more of because you were an offensive lineman? I remember, first getting into football and like they put me on the offensive line. I'm like, man, there's no glory, right?
Right.
And so you're like, oh, put me where I can, make it more of an impact that people would notice, more or less. And so I was really into defense, right? Were you a Derek Thomas fan?
Oh yeah, Derek Thomas was a man. And I was a huge Derek Thomas fan. I was a huge fan of the Chiefs whenever I was playing with the Chiefs. Whenever I was playing in high school and in college, that's when Priest Holmes was the running back, and so he had that amazing offensive line with Brian Waters and
Will Shields,
and Willie Roaf and Wegman, and that was a crazy offensive line. And so I followed those guys and tried to emulate those guys when I played. And I remember when I got to the NFL, I got to train with Will Shields, and that was like the highlight of my life, my career at the time, just because I watched that guy play for so long, and then he taught me some tips. So
was he the most impressive as far as offensive lineman that you got to play next to or train with?
The most impressive thing about Will is by the time I got to train with him, I think he was like 5 years retired, and he could still do the horizontal splits.
Oh my gosh. Talk about that mobility and limberness you're talking about,
I'm
man.
saying, I'm
Yeah.
trying to tell you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you. Flexibility
Mobility
is key.
make a big difference.
Yeah, mobility is longevity of career.
Yeah.
No matter the sport, stay mobile, stay flexible. Come train with us. Shameless plug. Come train with us as a
Hell
sports
yeah.
performance, and we will help you stay strong.
And dude, like, I know that Tom Brady's trying to make money calling it the TB12 method, but I feel like it speaks to a lot of what you're talking about as far as his pliability methods, right?
Exactly.
And it's like Tom Brady played till 45, and like when he was like 38 years old, he said, "I think I'm going to play till I'm 45," and everybody was like, "You would be the first ever that would do it at a high level." Vinny Testaverde tried, right, but like he was obviously not even in the top, third of quarterbacks when he was trying to do it
as a starter. Like you're starting that many games, like there's been guys who played backup, best, but you're protecting your body.
At 43, 44, leading the league in touchdowns.
It's crazy.
I remember growing up, like Warren Moon, he played till he was like, 41 or 42.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like thinking, oh my God, that guy's ancient out there,
Totally.
for a football player.
And dude, at the time, he was.
Yeah.
He really was.
It was unlike anybody else at the time.
Yeah,
no one else went that far, man. Not even Joe Montana.
But
No one went that high.
once again, Moon was a backup for several of those seasons. Like what Brady did, being a starter and winning that many Super Bowls, going to that many playoff appearances, turning the Buccaneers around the way he did. Like him and Gronk showed up and it was 100% 180.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you can't say he's not the GOAT. He is.
No
He
doubt.
put the stamp on it.
Yeah.
You know what? And as a Chiefs fan, I was about to say, as a Chiefs fan, I hate Brady.
But real recognizes real. And that dude was real.
It's crazy. You get in the league, right? Your first season, he's already been playing for 10 years. That's crazy, right?
Exactly.
He's already played 10 years.
It's nuts.
Man, I was so you've played for a handful of head coaches, and I want to talk because dude, I mean, like you've had some incredible leaders in your life, and I love that you talk about Drew Brees because of his leadership as a player, and then you have leadership as coaches. When you get to professional sports, right? You have coaches that excel at such a high level at the collegiate level, right? Like a Nick Saban, arguably one of the best college head coaches of all time. Then you have your other head coaches that you think of that didn't do well in the NFL, and he's one of them, right? He went for the Dolphins. I remember he got paid the most money in all of professional football, and he just totally bombed, right? And then you got what's his name, Brian, the Eagles head coach that came from Oregon. No, Oregon. Oregon had a head coach that he ran that crazy offense, tried to bring it to the Eagles, and it didn't work.
Oh, the guy that's in Notre Dame.
Yeah,
now?
then he went to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian, I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
I can see him because now he's at LSU.
Yeah. But anywho, that there was just a couple of head coaches that they make that jump, right? And right now we just had our recent failure at this would be Cliff Kingsbury. What's his name? Brian Kelly. There you go. So what is the difference? Is it like I guess my real genuine serious question here is is the leadership at a head coach level, does it matter as much as it does at the collegiate level? Do you feel inspired, whenever you're getting paid versus when you're not, right?
Yeah, so the leadership absolutely matters at the professional level. The head coach kind of sets the standard. The head coach once again is like the manager of the team. He's not the one calling the plays usually. Some head coaches are defensive coordinators or offensive coordinators, but a lot of times if they're not that, they are the person who kind of sets the direction and trajectory of the team, and most importantly, the culture. He's a culture setter. All right, and then he gives everybody else their jobs, their roles, what they need to do. So if the culture is not great, culture of working hard is not great, or culture of having fun is not great, then it's going to affect how the team plays. Perfect example, Sean Payton. He was really big on playing hard, balling out. But if you play hard, you ball out, have fun when you're doing it, let you have your swagger.
Let you be you were saying, right?
Exactly. So I played my first year with the Rams was with
Steve Spagnuolo.
Steve Spagnuolo,
defensive coordinator of the Chiefs. For everybody listening,
exactly.
But it was his first time head coaching at this time.
It was his very first time, and he was very old school, hard nosed.
The four pillars, if I remember correctly.
Exactly. 2 days were still a thing, and had to tuck your shirt in. You're at practice, like you couldn't have your undershirt out. And you got to keep in mind, you're talking to
grown men,
you know, and
he doesn't have he doesn't have, like, just to be fair for everybody listening, I'm so sorry to interject here. He doesn't have this, like, you know, streak. He's not Bill Belichick.
Right.
And so when you're trying to be Bill Belichick when you're not Bill Belichick, the players aren't going to believe in you.
And even Bill Belichick didn't do that. See,
Okay.
so you got to let grown men be grown men. You got to let people have their personality, especially these guys who have huge inflated egos, okay? If you guy has a huge inflated ego, do you go in and you pop it right away? All depends. Is that ego detrimental to the team? If it's not, if he's still doing his job, doing it well, being a team player, but is full of himself, hey,
ego can help. Like,
exactly,
you know what I'm saying?
exactly.
It can will
That's
people.
That's how he contributes.
Yeah, that's how he has confidence. So you let him be him as long as it's not detrimental to the team. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, and that's how you create a culture that is excels in the NFL. Whereas in high school or in college, you're dealing with 18 to 23. You
need a
young
dictator
man.
almost.
Yeah,
at the
you
top.
need to show them how to work. You need to, hey, this is my way. You know what I mean? By the time you're 24 and above, you're a grown man. You kind of know how you got to the highest level. You have to have some kind of work ethic about you. You don't need to be micromanaged.
Yeah.
Whereas in college, yeah, you need to micromanage those boys. Otherwise, they're going to lose their mind because this is the first time they've had freedom, right? They just got out of their parents' house. They're grown men. They got everybody thinking they're all that in a bag of chips. So, you know, they're going to be easily distracted. So college, you have to be structured. Once you get to NFL, it should be a little less structured. Let people have some freedom. So perfect example, like, and nothing against Spags. Spags was dope. It's just, it was a little too regimented. Didn't work, right? So it didn't last that long with the Rams. He's a better coordinator now, right? So I go to the Saints, completely relaxed. They just came off of Super Bowl. And still relax, cool, let people be them. But man, practice was fast, practice was sharp. Big guys had super oversized shirts on and like spatted up, all this swaggy gear on. But when practice happened, we were running around, we're flying around, we're sharp. In between plays, joking around, laughing, having fun. Yeah. Right. So when you look
the standards stayed high.
It's standards stay high. Hey, when it's time to work, lock it in, work. When it's not time not to work, have fun, chill. Relax, have fun, right? And then when I went to the Panthers, it was also very similar. And
do you remember who the head coach was then?
Ron Rivera.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so
he's a beast.
Yeah, exactly. Ron Rivera, let us be us. Also, Ron Rivera is a former player. You know, he played linebacker for a long time in the NFL, so he knew how it was. He knew not to stifle guys and make it work. Don't make it work. Make it fun. If you make it fun, guys are going to work harder, right? And then I went to the Buccaneers. And Greg Schiano.
He was the example of the another Steve Spagnuolo, right?
Worse.
Was he was Steve
Spagnuolo on 100 times. Yeah. And
the most like hard-headed dude possible, right?
He told this.
He got fired after one season, if I remember correctly.
After 3 seasons, 2 seasons.
He got 2 in.
I think he got 2, but he would not let us wear our hoodies. He got rid of all the hoodies in the facility. Because he didn't want anybody to put their hoodie up during meetings. Like, so no one could actually have a hood on their stuff. I'm like, if you want to say no hoodies up there, just say, don't wear it, put your hoodie up during the meeting. No. Yeah. He's like, no, get them all out of here. So the whole facility didn't have a single hoodie. All right, we had sweaters, but they didn't have a hood.
Yeah, crew necks only.
Yeah, exactly. And he just had a bunch of like little rules like that. Like you couldn't put your hands on your hips. But he would always walk around with his hands on his hips, you know. And it was stuff like that just would.
You set yourself up to get, attacked when you're doing.
When you're going to be a heavy critic, just expect the finger to be pointing back at you.
Exactly, and then most importantly, like if you're going to be controlling about things that matter,
right? Yeah.
Don't be controlling about a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter. Like
but Greg Schiano, like to their point, let me hear me out on this because we talk about leadership all the time, right? With our staff and so forth. And I love these kind of conversations because these guys obviously have gotten paid a lot of money to create these, these cultures. And you're like, his whole thing was to try to convince you that the hood mattered. Right. And you're like, exactly. It just doesn't matter to me, dog. Like it's not getting through, Right. And so Steve Spagnuolo, just from being a fan, the amount of times that I had to hear about these 4 pillars that he had of like what a player had to be if you're going to be on the Rams. And it was just like, it was way more about character. It was way more about what you did in your personal life than it was about how you played football. And when Jeff Fisher came in and he started drafting guys like Janoris Jenkins, everybody's like, well, that was the last pillar being driven off out of here. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because of like, just let those guys be themselves. Right. And I just wonder, you know, how is it like that a guy like Greg Schiano, or again, we talk about Nick Saban, which it's so hard to listen to Nick Saban talk and not be like, that dude's right about everything, because he is such a good speaker. And it's like, how does it that players don't buy in at the professional level to what these guys have to say? And I guess it's because they're already successful. They've already made it in quotes, maybe?
No,
I don't know.
Dude.
What do you think it is?
In my opinion, it's 100%. It's not about what Nick Saban says. It's about what the best players on the team says. So Nick Saban pulls the best players in on the team and says, these are going to be the standards. I'd appreciate if you guys hold these enforce these standards, and then those guys enforce the standards. Nick Saban doesn't enforce the standards.
The number two.
Yeah, you're
which is Tom Brady
right.
at the Patriots, right? Is that pretty much like on the teams? But then again, you can't have, like you were saying, your standards can't be to the point where it's like, all right, guys, this is stupid.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, you got to get those captains to buy in on it.
Yeah.
And if the captains don't even agree with it, then the captains aren't going to help you enforce it, and therefore you're not going to have any power with the team.
I feel like Spagnuolo's got to understand that a lot better now, because you think of like Frank Clark and like Chris Jones, like those guys, like you watch them play.
He's a totally different coach than when I got in my rookie year. Like now he's learned, and just like a player, coaches learn. They realize what works and what doesn't work. They get to work with other head coaches and see how the other head coaches are being successful, and they're like, okay, if they ever get the opportunity, I'm gonna do things a little differently. And some people are just better college coaches than they are professional. Right. Some people are just better at
their message resonates with those young dudes.
Exactly.
Right. That's what you're saying. It's like, dude, I've already made it. I'm a grown man. Like, I've already proved myself that I belong here. Don't talk to me like I don't.
Exactly.
Right. Like, don't pretend like I'm gonna get cut because like I wear a hood or something like that. Like, come on, you know. So it's wild to think about the levels of success, right? Because we all know these things matter in quotes, but it's like, which levers do you want to pull here? Which hill do you want to die on?
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Like, that's not the hill to die on. Yeah, man, that's the battle, not the war. Don't go to bat because you need guys to show up 5 minutes early or they're late, or send them home. It's like, they got here on time, dude. You know.
What's the coolest thing that ever happened to you in the NFL? Like, what's the moment that stands out where you're like, holy shit, I'm in the NFL?
It was probably the first time I saw double vision. So I was with the Rams, and I'll fast forward through this story, but long story short, there was a huge D lineman. I forget his name at the time. He came from another team. He was a 7 to 8 year veteran, but he was a solid 350, 360 pounds, but 5'11", you know. So
remember what team this was?
He had bowling ball. This was with the Rams.
I'm saying was he on the Rams as well?
Yeah, he was on the Rams too. Yeah. So we had a team scrimmage.
Claude Roten.
I don't
That's
know.
my guess. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm done.
Yeah.
Tell the story.
So he, so long story short,
like Kalen Saunders.
But that's a Chiefs player.
Yeah.
Well, of course, I'm just saying the body
same
type.
guy. Yeah.
So he, my job was to trap him. So he runs upfield unblocked, and then I clothesline him, or blindside him, and so the play goes off. I'm looking down the line before the play goes. I'm like, okay, he doesn't see me. So I'm about to light him up. And so the play goes, and he runs upfield, but being the veteran D lineman he stops, realizes nobody's touched him, and turns around, looks dead at me. And I'm running full speed. I was like, oh, he saw me. So I still keep going. And he smiles and leans right into me. And I hit him and just collapsed to my ground. And I'm trying to block him from my knees. Just when I hit him, my helmet literally turns sideways, and I'm looking through my eye hole, and my face mask is on the side of my face, and buckles go everywhere, and the play goes, and he just laughs at me and walks away. And I get up, my whole side of my face hurt, and I literally see double vision. At that time, I've never seen double vision in my life. I was like, oh, I'm thinking my eye hurt, so I thought my eye fell out of my head. So we finished the play and the series, and I go off to the sideline, and I take my helmet off. I was like, tell me the truth. Is my eye still in my head? I don't
want to feel it.
Yeah, I was like, you just let me know if I need to go to the trainer right now. He was like, yeah, you're fine. But that was the welcome to the NFL moment. It was like, man, even if you think you better light a dude up, now veterans, that's why they're veterans, is they know exactly what's going to happen before it happens, based off of just small little hints.
Man, I've had such a I love hearing these stories for sure, and it's the perspective of just like, man, like, you know what it takes to obviously make it to the professional level, the hard work that goes into it. And I also I'm just a fan of sports, right? So I follow all sports and just the ups and downs of everybody. But the XFL obviously has got its third stint this season, and it's performing relatively well as far as so far. And this is the first year where it's owned by The Rock and promoted by The Rock. And I don't know if you follow that league enough or what, but
Jeff's trying to get you into the XFL.
That's not true. That's not true. But no, what I'm trying to get at, dude, is like this is a cool thing to me because it's from a sports perspective, but also a business perspective. Mm-hmm. And I'm a really big fan of business, as in like I literally watch what businesses are doing, how they're doing it, what they're promoting, where the value is, all that. And so the XFL, I thought in my head, prior to The Rock owning it, like this is the only way this would work. And The Rock is killing it, I feel like, in exactly the way that he's marketing it. And so do you know the number that they retired in the XFL? Mm-mm. There's only one number that's already retired.
He hate me.
No, dude.
Sorry.
That's his name.
What's he hates me real name?
I don't know.
I believe it was Rod Smart.
That's the one thing they should bring back.
Panther.
They should bring back the
nicknames.
Yeah.
But no, what he did so unique is he retired the number 54.
Is that Rock's number?
It was his number, maybe, but it's more about what it represented, and that was the first guy to not make the team, because 53 make the team, right, in the NFL, and he retired 54 because the XFL is littered with nothing but a bunch of dudes that clearly could make a team, but because of circumstances or a certain situation of a team they're on or whatever it may be, they were the first to get cut, and they didn't dope. And they have nowhere else to go. And there's no other place for them to go. And I want to say that your fifth preseason that you mentioned, you easily could have found a home on an XFL team and kept playing for money and been able to, extend your career a little longer and play through some injuries and show yourself and maybe, get back in the NFL the following season or so. But there's nowhere to go where you can get seen.
Yeah.
And I love that The Rock has truly started by saying, hey, we're not the NFL right off the bat, right? We're not really trying to compete with the NFL. But we have a lot of players that are really damn good players right now, and there's nowhere for them to go. And so that's why he retired 54. And then we have guys like, help me out, I'm blanking on a name, but the quarterback of, for Alabama that won 2 national titles.
A.J. McCarron.
McCarron is over here, and talk about a perfect scenario. A.J. McCarron went out, won 2 huge comeback wins to start the season with the St. Louis Battlehawks. And they were interviewing him like, hey, man, you were obviously a really good backup. He was the backup for the Bengals the season prior. Second string quarterback making 5 times as much money in the NFL. Why the hell are you playing in the XFL? And he's like, dude, I want my kids to see me play. I'm tired of having my kids watch me hold a clipboard. I've made enough money, dude. I'm here to play.
Right.
And so it's cool because the XFL is going to survive, in my opinion, based on the quality of the quarterback play. It's a fun, entertaining product to watch if you watch it, And right. So it's just cool to see it happen. But I was going to ask your opinion on, with that sentiment of the 54, do you see yourself, if you had an XFL back in that final season where you got cut from 5th preseason, would you have gone and thought, you know what, I would have loved to have played somewhere else?
Absolutely. I would have. I thought about Canada for a while, but I didn't want to go that far away from family. Mm-hmm. And to beat up my body. But if XFL was local or if they had another league, I definitely would have played or attempted to play a couple more seasons. Still have more in me. Shoot, I want to say 4 years after I retired, I watched 1 football game a season. That was just the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And that was just because I was so jaded, from
hard.
It's hard stepping away from a game you played for so long and seeing people who you played with, or like I said, seeing your backups take your job and then continue to play and realizing that could have been you. It was hard. So I stopped playing. I stopped watching for a long time. So I definitely would have wished that was available. But once again, it wasn't in the cards. It wasn't what God had planned for me. I had better things planned for me. So I'm happy.
Like you said earlier, it's like, you put yourself in this position where now you can actually, put, younger athletes in a better position. And that's what, really what life's about, right? Improve things to where people below you can absolutely have a better opportunity.
Exactly. Pave the way.
Mm-hmm. And the only thing I ask of you in this is there are the players that do go on and play, Canadian football, right? Or they'll play, way back in the day, NFL Europe.
Right.
And, there's a guy, for example, that I met this morning at a men's group I meet with on Thursdays at 7, and his name's Dalton Schoening. He actually just won Rookie of the Year for Canadian Football League.
Wow.
He's a wide receiver, and he played at K-State, was really good at K-State, went to a few camps. He was with the Chiefs, he was with the Chargers, he was with the Redskins when they were called the Redskins. And, he just didn't understand why he couldn't make a team, right? So he goes and plays in Canada and crushes, right? Wins Rookie of the Year. He might have even won Offensive Player of the Year. And he's back in the CFL this year. Doesn't even get a call. He's not even at a camp or anything. Do you understand? Like, do you have any idea, just from the inside of having an agent, playing professional sports? Why do they write you off when you go and play in another league? Like, I don't understand how you can be that talented, be that young, and not even get a look.
It's all based off of quality of competition. So you might do really, really well, but if they don't think you win against high quality competition, then you might not get a look. Also, if it's more about your tangibles, is he really fast? Can he jump really high? Is he tall?
What's the upside, basically, of the athlete?
Exactly. Like, once he gets in our league, how will he continue to be a standout, or will he just fall into the wash? And at that point, you also, the longer you play, the more expensive you are. Every year, the rookie minimum or the league minimum goes up about $100,000. So,
do you know about the veteran adjusted average though?
No.
These new contracts. So, I mean, I'm not here to try to be a know-it-all. I'm just saying that this is a new thing that's really cool to help veterans. So, for example, Jerick McKinnon, right? We just signed him yesterday. We re-signed Jerick McKinnon for a 3rd year. And Jerick McKinnon is worth 1.5, 1.7 million, but the veteran minimum, right, is around that much. But against the salary cap, it hurts the salary cap, right, to sign a veteran over a rookie. And they know that, and it hurts veterans. So they let the salary cap get adjusted based on the minimum versus you signing him for 1.7. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
so Jerick McKinnon's only going to count $1 million against the salary cap, but he's going to get paid 1.7. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So they've done that with the last bargaining agreement, within the players' union versus
That's
the NFL.
Extremely smart. That's extremely smart
To help the veterans out.
Exactly. That's what happened to me. Similar thing. Part of the reason why I didn't get called back is I reached my 4th year. I was more expensive than a rookie. So why buy?
And it's like considerable, right?
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
$500,000 or $300,000 or something.
Exactly. Why buy damaged goods when you can get a brand new car? Even though it might not be as good, it's brand new. And let's try it out.
And a third of the price or whatever it may be.
Exactly.
They're looking
Wild.
at upsides. They're like, well, we can, this person doesn't have the experience, but they have the intangibles.
Did you play with any pure effort guys that were able to make a team purely
Rudy?
I think of a Danny Amendola who was like an undrafted free agent, couldn't make it on the Cowboys, and then he goes on and plays for 10 years.
Yeah, shoot.
He gets cut by the Cowboys.
Danny Amendola didn't have the intangibles. He wasn't tall, wasn't super fast, but he was.
Might as well have been Rudy.
But here's the problem. Here's the thing. Danny was quick, and Danny was with me with the Rams.
Yeah.
I won't say it was his 3rd season, but he joined us like mid-season.
It led the team in catches.
Exactly. I remember his very first week. My O-line coach came and says, "I really like this kid." He's so scrappy and just shifty. And I saw Danny play. I was like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna be playing for a while." Because though he did not look amazing on paper, and when you look at his stats, how he played was totally different. And he just hopped up every single time, didn't lay on the ground, didn't talk a lot of kept He just caught the ball, hop up,
going,
and go back to the hole. So that's what helped Danny to last. So back to the guy in Canada, does he have that? Does he have the shiftiness? There has to be something.
Can he get open like that, right?
Exactly. There has to be something special about you, about what you do. Even if you score a lot of touchdowns, is it just because you're the best receiver on the team, so the quarterback targets you a lot? Like, that might be why you're balling. You just might be in the right program, but once you go to the NFL, you really can't hang with anyone else who's at the same caliber. So that's why sometimes a person at a lower level still doesn't get a shot. Same reason why, Division II guys will not get drafted but get signed to the NFL because you're not going against the same caliber athlete. So I might have been an All-American, but an All-American in Division II is not the same as All-American at
let's see at camp and see how you do against everybody else.
Exactly.
Huh?
That's your same level.
That's cool, man.
Very cool.
That's very cool. You're in a spot, dude, where you're obviously with some really fun up and coming athletes, right? Is there any names you should plug that we feel like we should be keep an eye on that you're excited about that are coming through the ranks right now at your performance center?
Well, Ryan Mueller is actually. It's funny you mentioned.
Yeah, dude, he shops with us.
Yeah. So Ryan Mueller is actually currently
going for the XFL championship, right?
He's actually in the XFL. So we're wishing good things for Ryan, and then I train some athletes. I'm not gonna mention them just because they're underage and whatnot.
I'm with you. Yeah, we don't need to throw any extra pressure on them either, right?
But yeah, got a lot of great athletes. Some track athletes I'm training, some linebackers I'm training from different schools in the Johnson County area, and where I'm excited to see them blow up and make it big in college.
Who's the other? Who would you say is your competition as far as performance places here in town? That also go after these high level youth athletes?
Oh, there's a lot of great places. I know up in Lenexa, there's a team up there, or a facility up there. I'm not gonna plug anybody else, so you gotta Google them. But yeah, there's a lot of good places, good training everywhere. I'm never gonna bash any of my competitions. It's just everybody has a different focus and a bit different specialty. Ours is training, but also preparing you to make it through the entire season, so that's where we're going to focus on. So other places might just be purely performance, so what matters to you? What do you need the most? Do you need longevity of career? Do you need to get really, really quick, really, really fast, no matter what, but if you really want to stay balanced, stay healthy, and get strong and fast, come see us.
I love that, man. You got a bunch of youth coming in right now, and so the youth is these days. It seems like mental health is at the forefront of a lot of people's minds.
Oh yeah, huge.
I was going to ask, from your days of coming up in sports versus what you're dealing with now as sports performance coaching, do you have to deal with a lot of that as far as these kids, their mental health or their mental psyche going into things? Because I'm sure it was always there whenever we were kids, but we just didn't give it as much, I guess, I don't know, as much weight. We didn't dwell on it as much. We just listened to the coach and go.
Well, there's social media that puts a huge pressure on kids nowadays that didn't exist whenever I was playing or didn't exist to the same extent. And now people not only have to compare themselves to the kids on their team and the kids that they play against, but now they're comparing against the kids all around the country and feeling like they might not ever be able to measure up or not be able to keep up. And then on top of that, with social media, posting things on social media and people getting in comments and trolling kids, it's just you have to take a lot of criticism at an age where you're not really mature enough to handle it. So, there's a lot of debate on social media and how early you should let people be on it. But that is, I believe, the main reason why, suicides and mental illness is so prevalent now, is because kids are having to deal with all these opinions of people who don't matter at an age that they're not mature enough to handle it.
Completely, man. That's tough.
And so, yeah, we have a sports psych on staff as for that exact reason. So that's a beautiful thing about working for the KU Med Hospital. We have a lot of resources for everybody, whatever that you might be going through. We have somebody for you. We have a sports dietitian. We have a sports psych. And then we have a corrective exercise specialist that purely focus on balancing the body and making it strong and alleviating pain. We have amazing physical therapy. So
you got it all covered, man.
Yeah, hey, we're trying once again, like Orange Theory, man. Just get involved and be ahead of the market. Where everybody's going, we want to be there first. So,
dude, I think that's special, man. I had no idea you guys did all that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Swiss Army knife. Hey, what's wrong with you? We'll fix you. We got you.
Yeah, man.
Dude. So every podcast, I don't know if you've listened to our podcast before, but at the end of every podcast, we ask everybody the same question.
I got one more for you.
Oh, what you got?
So you guys are both parents. You know what I mean? You both got kids. How old are yours?
Mine is 8 and 4.
So boys, girls?
8-year-old boy, 4-year-old little girl.
Okay. So is the 8-year-old playing sports yet?
He plays baseball, yep.
Okay. I was going to say, is there anything that you would be telling your son differently than you would have done for yourself as far as with youth sports and just where to put his focus, or how hard do you push him versus how hard do you just let him do his own thing?
Have fun. It is. It's have fun. He can be successful in a lot of things. He can be successful in art. He can be successful, and he better be successful in the classroom. That's gonna help him go a long.
Oh, there we go. Right here.
Here we go.
That's adorable.
That's gonna help him go a long way further than sports. A long career in sports is 10, 15 years. That means you retire at 30, 35 years old. There's a lot of life after that. So what do you have to do after that? Football or baseball can be your plan A, but you better have a plan B because eventually you're going to retire from your sport and you're going to need to still make money. I really don't push him hard in sports. As long as he's having fun, do it. If you don't have fun, you don't have to do it anymore. But you got to do something extracurricular. So it better be sports or acting or singing, dance. I played the viola in elementary school and high school. I was in the concert choir.
The viola?
Yeah, the viola.
Look that up, Luke. I don't even know what that looks like.
The viola is like a violin, but a little deeper.
How'd you get into the viola?
They ran out of violins. So yeah, I played the viola for
best 6'3", 300-pound viola player you ever seen.
Exactly. Yeah. The funny thing is,
it's like a cello but smaller, right?
No, it looked like a violin but slightly bigger.
Oh,
Why is it big? So so mandolin, violin, and viola.
So violin. When you're listening to classical music, the violins are usually the fast notes, the up tempo.
Yeah.
The viola
higher
is playing,
pitch, if you will.
Higher pitch, and the viola is playing the off tempo. We're more about here you go.
Well, you said you like to listen to classical music. And
Yeah,
now
I love
get
classical music. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm a nerd. I like sci-fi. I play video games. I like all that stuff. So that's why I'm not really a big sports guy. I'm not the typical jock. I was good at it, but my main interests were other things.
Sure.
And so,
are you anime fan too?
Oh, huge anime fan.
Everybody loves all anime now.
Yeah.
What do I do to get into
here's
anime?
the thing.
I've never seen a single show.
And people didn't love anime now. It's just now we've come out of the closet.
Yeah.
Anime fan. I loved anime since I was little, but you were dorky, so you didn't talk about it. But now social media made it cool. Now everybody's like, oh yeah, I've been in anime since '99.
Yeah, I've been loving anime since day one. I'm like, dude, I
know nothing.
I tried.
In my head, it was like
Speed Racer as a kid was the
Power
only
Rangers,
anime
Power Rangers anime, and Pokemon, kind of all the same.
Yeah, Pokemon was my first try. I didn't like
please
it.
Stop.
Pokemon's
you
not
barely even named one anime.
Yu-Gi-Oh,
Power Rangers.
Hey, don't.
Power Rangers is live action, my guy. It's not even anime.
That's not even a cartoon.
You just
come on.
Hey,
Kyle.
listen. You just educated me on something because when you said I thought anime was a show. Like is anime not?
Anime is a genre.
It's a genre.
It's a genre of cartoon.
Kyle, facepalm.
I just thought it
sure.
was the guy with the hair that was like really spiky. I thought that was
That's just Dragon Ball Z,
he thought
dude.
Anime was a character, my boy.
Or just a.
Wow.
He thought it was its own show.
Yo,
wow.
It's a genre
sorry,
of
I don't know.
shows.
I literally know less than zero.
Show Roger Nicholas haircut right now.
The fact that you said the guy with the spiky hair, all anime people are listening to it said this boy just referred to Goku as a guy with spiky. Yeah, don't say Goku now.
He doesn't know.
Oh Goku. I know who Goku is,
Dude.
Come on.
I thought Goku was the show that he was on was anime.
He's got click his story.
Oh my goodness!
I thought he just got a haircut yesterday. That was like every 2 weeks, and he keeps the Goku going. That's this morning.
What are we looking at?
Yeah, my boy's going Super Saiyan. Let's go.
He's got the full haircut. He doesn't have one popped. All right, well, Nicola's got one right there. You can see, but he had a full side by side of him, and I guess his name is Goku.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. How did I miss this? I was born in '88. How old were you?
I'm 86, so I'm just 2 years.
How did I miss this? I had Cartoon Network. What did I?
Hey, you just turned.
No, dude.
You turned
Jeff will ask me about Nickelodeon shows. He's like, you didn't watch that? I'm like, no, I didn't.
You didn't watch Cousin Skeeter?
I didn't really watch TV.
Come on, dude.
I was into all that. Cousin Skeeter.
Salute Your Shorts.
What's the one with the Fraggle Rock that you talk about?
Hey Arnold.
Yeah, Hey Arnold.
What's up?
The one with Fraggle Rock that you talk about.
Oh,
That's Fraggle
old
Rock.
school.
That's a show.
super
Oh,
old
it's a
school.
show.
But I never watched Fraggle Rock. That's like you had to have been born in like '83 to be
Right,
like a
early
regular.
80s.
Yeah, man, because Fraggle Rock was like an '80s show. It was basically Jim Henson. It was like another Sesame Street, but just like all puppets and no adults.
Exactly. I missed the boat on SpongeBob. I was like a little too
Yeah,
mature for SpongeBob.
too old.
Whereas people your age is like, yeah, SpongeBob.
I think we just missed it too. Like I'm serious. Like I'm like I.
But you were
only-
born in '86. I was
86.
born in '87. So you and me are like same
and
demographic.
yeah, you don't know who Goku is.
I don't.
Wow.
It's sad, right?
So
I mean,
Jeffrey
at least-
asking me about. I'm like, man, I guess I didn't watch much TV
But like,
when I was
where-
that
so
where
how
age.
is
you-
Speed
where you
Racer
gonna-
not anime though? Because this is like it was for sure just like
Yeah,
the
this is
same-
anime. You know.
Yeah, but now.
He's like, yes, this is the show anime.
Okay,
This is
so,
anime.
so what's the difference between the dark-haired spiky guy and the blonde-haired spiky guy?
Same guy. It's
They're the same guy?
the same guy.
So when he goes Super Saiyan, is that when he goes blonde? Is that the thing?
He says Super Saiyan.
I say it
It's when
wrong?
he changed the colors, right, to Saiyan.
Did I say it wrong?
Saiyan. He's a Super Saiyan. That's a race of alien warriors.
I mean, like I should have known.
It's yes.
Now my mind's blown.
They were
So
like,
this is
they were
an
like
alien
the
thing?
They were the Spartans of the
listening.
galaxy. All right, there were a whole world of alien warriors. And listen, I ain't got time to go in.
I'm not mocking it. I'm trying to learn.
Listen,
Hold on.
But
But
why
for
is
real,
that? So
I
the
got a
dark-haired
question
guy is
for
the
real though.
same as the blonde guy.
I was certain that this and Pokemon were the same thing. You're telling me they're two different things.
Oh my gosh, man, that hurts me.
Why? I'm just like.
you please just stop embarrassing yourself.
To be clear, the dark-haired guy does look like Ash without a hat on. You take Ash's hat off, he might look like that dude.
No,
That looks like Ash as an
he does
adult.
not.
You know?
It's a totally different jawline and everything.
It's a
Yeah, see,
okay.
same guy. Same
So what
guy.
happened?
Same guy.
What
Thank
happened
you,
to his
thank you for
hair?
putting that on us. He went Super Saiyan. He went to
Hey,
the next
he's
level.
pretty
His-
jacked though. Let's be real.
Exactly. You guys should be in this.
God
Y'all should
dang.
be into this.
Wow.
The amazing bodies and Dragon Ball, they were all ripped. And
See, I
jacked.
liked Hulk Hogan and shit. You know,
Okay.
real life,
Yeah, real life stuff.
ones.
I get it.
But I'm with
I
you.
get it.
I didn't
was a
even watch
WWE
that
guy
either.
WWE and anime are
I'm
just
so
two,
not
two
cultured.
different cultures, but definitely
But both
strong
fake.
cultures. Yeah,
Fake.
without a doubt. All right, now to
Anyways.
Kyle's question.
Yeah, the last question we always ask people. So you grew up here in Kansas City. Kansas City is obviously really known for having the best barbecue in the country. Are you a barbecue fan?
Oh yeah, I love barbecue.
What is the best barbecue in Kansas City? If you had to take one place and eat that for the rest of your life as far as barbecue goes, what is it?
Where you taking your friends when they're in town?
When I take people in town, see, here's the thing. I love burnt ends, and to me, the place that actually has, and this is going to be extremely controversial because I grew up on Gates, so Gates was the thing, but I'm big on burnt ends, and I feel like Jack Stack has the best burnt ends in town.
Ooh, yeah, Jack Stack's
they're
good.
just melty, but I know there's Q39, there's Jack Stack, there's Oklahoma Joe's or Casey Joe's. He can't go wrong.
We're big fans of Jack Stack.
We love Jack Stack here.
Yeah, here's the
Yeah,
thing.
it's great.
Here's the thing, Kansas City. Okay, you show up, you go any corner, you're gonna find some good barbecue. You go to a
Right.
gas station, you're gonna find some good barbecue. You go to the Royal Stadium, and their generic is still better than most other places you go to. It's just anywhere you go, there's gonna be some good barbecue. It's
True. It's not.
When
we're
you were
trying
in
to
St.
decide they're all
Louis,
the same.
you like St. Louis barbecue? Some
No,
Pappy's?
it's garbage. It's garbage. Everywhere else, Carolina, garbage.
Yeah.
They're dry rub. I'm like, wait, where's my sauce?
Yeah.
They got the mustard
They
sauce
got the
out
mustard
there.
sauce down there.
If you're a mustard sauce guy,
That's also talking about anime being a person. Like that mustard sauce is like the comments you were making about anime. It's just like, are we
Is that even barbecue?
Are we even having this conversation right
I'm
now?
not going to live it down with some of our employees because they're
please,
really big.
Don't
anime
let him
people.
live it down. He does not deserve to live it down. Thought anime was a.
you make
person.
fun of a dude that's 300 pounds and 6'3" about his anime love. You know what I mean?
I didn't
Kyle?
make
Listen.
fun of it. I just don't know anything about
Your
it.
questions are the most disrespectful.
So
They might as well be making
you
fun.
guys did so much research, but then went to anime and said next. That was terrible.
Hey, I said Super Saiyan, and you're like, it's Super Saiyan. Did I say that wrong? Again?
Saiyan is a color. Saiyan is a made up race.
Are they the same color as Saiyan?
No. Say. Look up the color Saiyan. I don't know.
Is it a Crayola color?
It's an actual color. I know, or is it Scion? I'm thinking about. I don't know.
My Scion's a Toyota car.
All right, so
I know that.
I don't know. I want to say it's a color of blue, a shade of blues. Saiyan.
I respect the color knowledge, to be honest with you, dude. Hey, I didn't know you well before you came in here. I feel like I know you a whole lot better now. I sincerely appreciate you being here, man.
It's been awesome conversation with you, man.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for the invite. This is awesome. First ever podcast. This is dope.
Well, you killed it, bro. I appreciate you. Let's
shout out. Yeah.
Let's tell our listeners where to find you.
All right, so you can find us at the Sports Performance Center, KU Med Sports Performance Center. We're right off of 125th and Antioch. Come see us. We have, like I said, corrective exercise specialists. So even if you're not an athlete or you're a former athlete or you're just a person who just wants to operate and move your body without pain, if there's something that's been bothering you and the doctors can't tell you anything, come see us. Come see our specialists, and we will help you strengthen and get flexible, get mobile, and be able to improve your overall quality of life. So if you're an athlete, we're going to help your quality of life. If you're a non-athlete, we're going to help your quality of life. If you have a heart and you're still beating, Sports Performance Center is for you.
I love it, man. You have an Instagram profile they could follow you on or anything?
Yeah, so you can follow
Anime Lover.
Big Raj 7070 is my personal anime or not anime. dang it.
We got you.
But KU Sports Performance Center is so if you type in KU Sports Performance Center on Instagram, you can follow us there. You can see a lot of reels of some of our athletes, see what we do, and it's fun. It's a good place for everybody. 8 years and older. We actually have a summer promo going on right now. So if you sign up within the next 2 weeks, you get a discount on our 10-week program for youth athletics.
For you guys that are listening now, this will be released what's today? Thursday. So it'll be released next Tuesday. So you got about 10 days.
Yeah, 10 days.
To take advantage of that offer. Please do follow Roger. Make sure you guys support him. He's an awesome dude. He's doing some great things with a lot of youth here in Kansas City. And do us all a favor and please support him. All right, guys.
I appreciate that.
We'll see y'all next week.